Hey everybody, what's up? It is me, it is Crapgamer, and it is a live video. And I figured, hey, you know what? I don't have anything to do till later tonight. It's my birthday. Why not do a stream and talk about some of these rumors and things like that? It's the perfect time, and I might not have time later to do this. So, hey, I'm out here doing this video, and hey, I really do appreciate the support, all the birthday wishes and things like that. And it really does mean the world to me. So thank you guys so much for always rocking out with me and things like that. I really do think that Microsoft has a lot of cool things going on for themselves. I know a lot of people think I'm down on them. I'm not. I just really expect more. I just want them to do so much better and do so many amazing things that I know they're capable of. And I feel like sometimes along the way, they do forget a little bit about us console folk, and that's a little bit unfortunate. But I do like that Microsoft has a lot of ambitious ideas for their studios and things like that going forward, because I think that's very important. And I would really love to see them kick out some amazing exclusive games and make, Game Pass worthwhile. And I think that's sort of what we're starting to see. And now there's like the rumors and things like that of some of these other studios that Microsoft are very interested in. If you guys are just joining me, please hit the like button, share it out, all that kind of stuff. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, Pumpkin Queen. I saw that Don Matrick didn't believe in the Xbox. That is so funny, isn't it? That the guy that basically ruined Xbox was working for EA at the time and didn't believe in Xbox at all. So yeah, I find that to be incredibly funny and very interesting. So, I really do think that seeing the behind the scenes stuff, because Seamus is a really good guy, right? And I've interviewed him before. I interviewed him with Xbox Nation, and I thought that it was just really, he's a really down to earth guy. And I think that he really likes Phil Spencer, but I'm not so sure that he likes the way that Xbox has gone about changing so many things the way that they have. So whether or not that continues to happen or whatever, I'm not really sure. But it's going to be one of those things that continues to kind of creep up, and we'll see how it works out. At the end of the day, for me, I'm excited about Xbox. Like I know a lot of people don't think that when I say it, but it's 100% true. Like I'm playing my Xbox One X. There's so many great games coming out. It really is just a really good time to be an Xbox fan. I just want them to change a few things and maybe focus on the console itself. I mean, if you want to put stuff on mobile and all that kind of stuff, I don't particularly care about that. Just deliver on the content and deliver the best experience on a box that you can. And I think that's what they're really going to be able to accomplish. And so I'm very excited about that going forward. So I know you guys are kind of interested in sort of getting to some of the awesome rumors and things like that. And as we get closer to E3, I think we're going to really see more of these come out. And that's what I'm excited about, right? I'm very excited to see what Microsoft has up their sleeve for E3. And I'm hearing some different things about different games and things like that. And I'm sure we're going to be seeing some of this stuff. But I did want to talk about this interesting article before I get into the studios that came up, because this actually came up as I was creating this room. And I thought it was well worth it because I really spoke out about this. Xbox Game Pass won't be coming to the Nintendo Switch anytime soon. This is according to Brad Sams. As you guys know, I had Brad Sams on Xbox Nation last week, and he said, he didn't really think that it was going to come to, he guaranteed that it wouldn't basically come to PlayStation, but also said that, probably didn't make a whole lot of sense to come to Nintendo Switch. Now, here's the thing. I jumped the gun on this because you hear it, and Microsoft and Nintendo are very chummy. They're very buddy-buddy, and I do believe that there are games going to the Switch that Microsoft are porting over, the Oris and the Cupheads, and I believe that Forza Street Game or whatever it is are definitely going to be going to the Nintendo Switch at some point. But Game Pass, the more you think about it, the more you think, maybe this doesn't make as much sense as you would believe, because it's not having your Xbox games on the go per se, since again the Nintendo Switch doesn't have a carrier for online, meaning you would have to be tied to a hotspot at all times to be able to play it, and whatever the speed is that you would need to accomplish it, I'm not sure what it is, but and the Wi-Fi for the Switch isn't great, by the way. A lot of people have problems, not just me, by the way. You can check their forums and things like that. The Switch has pretty piss poor Wi-Fi, meaning You would have to have a really, really good connection to be able to do something like that. And so it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. In fact, the Switch has basically been streaming a couple of games in Japan that were too graphically intensive for the console itself, and even people over there were reporting like all kinds of issues and things like that. So we are going to probably see something in the future, whatever. Hey, Rumple, Foreskin, I really appreciate it. Phil Spencer was testing the waters to see how much flack the hardcore X would respond with. Hey, man, you could be right with that. I don't know. Like for me personally, I wasn't really down with it. I know some people were like, "Hey, this is awesome. Can't wait to see that." But for me personally, it was always something of a bit of a misnomer. I was like, that doesn't really make much sense. You're trying to sell your platform, and because if you watch the interviews that Phil Spencer did recently, and I did a video about it, Phil Spencer mentions, oh, well, we make money not through hardware, we make it through software, et cetera, et cetera. But that's like saying that Sony's not making any money when Sony's in fact making way more money than them just on PlayStation Network alone. Because if you sell a lot of hardware, you're going to sell a lot of software too, especially if you have compelling software. So I feel like they're totally discounting the Xbox hardware sometimes, right? Like, oh, they don't care about the Xbox hardware because they're all more about the software. And I don't think that the casual market that they're going after with playing on your phone and things like that, I'm not sure if that's the market that's going to be dropping a lot of bucks on their games and things like that. So I did find that a little bit interesting, the way he just kind of discounts any kind of hardware sales being a good thing, almost like they don't care. And I'm sure they do care, and I'm sure they would love to be able to I'm sure they'd love to be able to sell a bunch of Xboxes, right? Because they were selling so many games on the Xbox 360 that it was crazy, right? They were making a ton of money. And I realize they're making a ton of money right now. But at the same time, it just, to me, doesn't really make sense. That they're not going to do that. So anyway, according to Brad Sams, who cites multiple sources, Xbox Game Pass on Nintendo Switch is currently not happening. He does note that it could change as Microsoft ultimately wants Xbox Game Pass on everything, but not at the moment. He doesn't believe there's anything in the works. It does sort of conflict with some other previous. Actually, I'm not even sure who had the original previous reports. I think it was just a YouTuber or something like that. Maybe somebody on like New Reset Era or whatever that is could have had it. So Sam's has a really good track record, reliable scoops and inside information and things like that. So and the Game Pass stuff for Nintendo Switch all sprang from one particular report or rumor, and then all the bigger sites kind of ran with it. So like I said, it's going to be interesting to see how that really works out. Like I always said, hey, maybe it doesn't really make much sense just because, like I said, the Nintendo Switch doesn't exactly have the best Wi-Fi, and so you're not able to actually go out there and kind of support it the way you could with like a third-party 4G or 5G or whatever down the road. But at the same time, I do think that it's Microsoft does definitely want to put their stuff on other things. The Switch, I don't think just makes sense right now. Maybe this rumored next Switch is going to have some kind of carrier that you're going to be able to get or whatever. Because I've heard, and there's some patents out there that Sony actually has, some of their own hardware in the works, like a Nintendo Switch, and that could be something that we see down the road. Hey, what's up, LG Nemesis? Hey, what's up, Lethal Papa? We got Yobi Dren. Hey, I appreciate the birthday wishes and things like that. So, yeah, man, it's a heck of a fun time. I like, for me, as I get older, I know that's one of those things that people don't really look forward to, right? Because once you hit like your mid 30s and stuff like me, I think you start to wish those things would slow down a little bit. But where I'm at in my life, I'm actually okay with it. Engaged, getting married, the whole nine. It's like, to me, it's starting to get interesting. Life is very interesting, so I'm enjoying that. Hey, what do I think about Anthem crashing PS4s? Man, that sucks. Look, I would love to sit there and make fun of PS4 for that, right? But that's happened to Xbox. You know how many times I load up my Xbox and I try to watch Hulu or do something, and it's like, give us a minute because we need some time or whatever, right? I just think that that's something that it can happen to anything, and it sucks. Like if you bought a console, you know, it's one of those things. Dude, crap doesn't take 8 years to get to the point, man. I've been talking about a few different things, man. I'm doing a stream. It's probably going to take an hour. You know, I'm trying to talk with you guys and interact with you guys. I get to it all. You know, it's bricking some PS4s, huh? How the hell does that even work out? Like, how does the bricking thing work? I haven't seen much in it because I haven't been around a whole bunch. But yeah, see, Lethal Pop up, like mine's on Hulu that I have problems loading, right? It'll say, wait a minute, and then try to relaunch it. And I always have to like hard reset my Xbox to get it to able to do anything. If you guys are just joining me, please hit the like button, share it out, things like that. Come on, guys, it's my birthday, man. Stop with the dislikes, man. We're all here for a good time, man. Just having some fun, talking some video games. You know, it wouldn't kill you guys to just chill for a day, huh? Hey, we got Noof Nukem in the room. Anthem hasn't bricked my Xbox, but it has shut down and kicked me back to the dashboard. Yeah, you know, Noof, sometimes that happens to me too. I actually picked up, man, what did I pick up? Toe Jam and Earl. And man, that is such a fun game. You know what I mean? I'm really blown away by the nostalgia of it all. I have to get more into it because I didn't have a ton of time to play it. But yeah, just I absolutely think that it's a great game, and it just takes you back to that like timeless age of like the late 80s, early 90s with the Sega Genesis, and they did a really good job with that. So yeah, really cool to kind of dip back into the nostalgia and see that come about. And you know, just with this whole like Switch stuff, like how do you guys feel about the chat about this stuff, right? Nintendo Switch likely not getting Game Pass. Maybe Microsoft sees some interesting aspects to you know, being able to have some kind of content exclusive or whatever. Lady Foxfire says, I don't have a problem with Hulu. Crappy bricking the consoles is just a rumor. I don't think anyone has confirmed it, but I know that the game makes the PS4 shut down. You can turn it back on though. See, yeah, I had heard about there being some issues with the PS4 actually having issues with shutting off, but I didn't know about the bricking stuff. Hey, thanks, Foxy. Yeah, it's my birthday. Yeah, we're gonna party. I'm that Pisces fish. You know, I'm always out there swimming around and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I'll show that one. Why not? Happy birthday. Yeah, really. Oh, dude, listen. Here's the thing with Phil Spencer, man. I don't know that Phil Spencer's killing Xbox because we aren't really privy to the things that are going on behind the scenes. What I mean by that is, you know, Microsoft has really sort of not believed in the Xbox for a very long time, right? That's just the facts. There were rumors that they were going to sell it off, that they were going to do this, that they were going to do that. So I think that Microsoft really didn't believe in the Xbox, and I think that the only reason why there's like an Xbox per se right now is because you know, we're able to have this kind of cloud streaming stuff and these different things that are going on. So I do think that while Microsoft maybe you know, Microsoft obviously isn't perfect, but I do feel like they are doing some things right and a lot of things right, you know, and to be able to have Microsoft reinvest in what they're doing, I think that shows incredible fortitude and probably some smarts on Phil Spencer's idea, because he probably pitched some of these ideas. Hey, you know, we can make this viable with cloud. We can do this and this and this. The only problem is I thought that the consoles would be more of a focus for at least another generation going forward. And maybe that'll be the case, right? But if you look at a lot of predictions for E3, it's like, oh, well, they're going to talk about, you know, xCloud, and they're going to talk about, they are going to announce two consoles, but one of them might be streaming, or streaming might be the forefront. And, you know, they're going to talk about PC stuff and how they're integrating the store and all this stuff. Like, I don't think that the majority of us really care about hearing about the PC stuff or the xCloud stuff, because I think that like, even if we find that stuff interesting, I don't think as console gamers that we really are like, oh wow, let's get on the edge of our seat and we want to hear about this instead of the games, right? We all want to hear about the games, and I think that's the part that sort of sets us apart, right? Like, while the tech might be interesting and we're not wishing for it to be bad, you know, I just really do think that we should be focused and interested in the games, and that's most of all. Hey, we're close to 100 likes. Please hit that like button. Hey, Failed Pyromancer, I really appreciate it. I saw that tweet yesterday too, man, when Halo gets announced as a Etch-a-Sketch exclusive. You actually made me laugh there, buddy. I appreciate it. You know what I mean? So, you know, I think it's all relative, and I think that at the end of the day, man, Microsoft, if you're an Xbox fan, there's not much that's going to change in terms of what we're getting. So we're going to get some nice games because Microsoft has new studios, you know, and they're going to be on some other things. And I still do think that, you know, Sony is going to have their stuff day and date eventually on PlayStation Now, and it's going to be a hell of a competitor because that's what's going to be great about this. It's going to force Microsoft to make better games because Sony right now has the quote-unquote better games in most people's eyes when that comes about. Now, for me, there's nothing that Sony really has out that's going to top or like a Gears of War for me, right? But I know that I'm not everyone, right? I'm a big Gears of War fan, so of course I love that series. So obviously someone that maybe loves, you know, Uncharted or God of War that much would definitely go with the Sony stuff. So I understand that completely. I'm just saying for me, it makes sense to kind of stick with Xbox and, you know, their online ecosystem and things like that. My friends are there, and I think that that's just how it's going to be. And going forward, I think Microsoft has a lot to prove, and I've said this multiple times. You've got to be able to put quality games out there for everybody. You've got to be able to put games out there that people want to play, and you got to have Game Pass viable to where people look at it as more than, you know, more than just kind of these B movies, right? These direct to DVD movies. Like, you know, we've seen some of these movies and then they'll get a direct to DVD sequel because they're so bad. Like, Microsoft needs to prove that Game Pass can do more than that, and that Gears, Halo, and Forza they can make more than just Gears, Forza, and Halo fun and AAA quality. Because if you look at some of the games they've had this generation, and this is kind of my thing. So if you hear people start saying this, you tell them Crapgamer came up with that. Xbox One, the Xbox that Microsoft forgot, because honestly, it does at times feel that way, that they didn't invest into it like they originally were going to, right? If you look at how the generation started, absolutely amazing stuff, but then it sort of really tailed off, and and we ended up getting less and less, and now it looks like we're going to get more and more, but probably not in this quote-unquote Xbox One generation, right? Like, we're gonna have to wait till, you know, we might be able to play them on Xbox One, but it looks like we're gonna have to wait a little bit longer to actually get that out there. So happy birthday, Crap. Oh man, I appreciate it, dude. Another one. Thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate that. It means the world to me. Over 300 watching. Please hit the like button and things like that. I'm gonna be, you know, just talking, shooting the breeze a bit with you guys. I really do enjoy the interactions and stuff like that. It does mean the world to me. So there are rumors of a couple of new studio announcements, and I linked one, and I'm going to talk about the other one that's out there as well. So Inside Xbox this month, which is going to actually focus on Age of Empires, right? And I think that that's going to be something that doesn't really appeal to a lot of people, right? But there is a recent leak that Microsoft, it might be acquiring Relic Entertainment, which is they're known for real-time strategy games like Company of Heroes and Warhammer 40,000 Dawn of War. And this is from that insider Clobrell, who's a reliable leaker and did do a lot of those leaks and things like that for E3 and then post E3 studios and things like that. So the rumor is Microsoft wants 20 studios by 2020. And so they have more that they're going to get. Now, I've heard this before as well. I don't know if I heard 20, but I did hear that Microsoft wants more studios than Sony. And I think Sony has like 15 or 16 or something like that. So, you know, basically this rumor, Microsoft acquiring Relic, came from his tweet, which included a photo and some of that kind of stuff. So he's pretty reliable when it comes to this stuff. And I'd heard that Microsoft was interested in a RTS type developer under their stable as well. It's very much a Sega-owned studio, which is not very in good financial condition. So this could be something that Microsoft could actually buy them out pretty easy. But this isn't the only one, right? So surprisingly, very surprisingly, we've been hearing that Microsoft is very, very happy. Elemental Pino says, I'd like Xbox achievements carry over from multi-plat games played on Switch. That'd be cool. Sort of like what they do with Minecraft. If you play Minecraft on the Switch, you can get achievements and things like that on your Xbox One. So I think that's a really good idea as well. And I think that Microsoft could actually potentially pull something off like that. And I think that some of those games might do that in the future. I don't know if like Ori, if that ends up going to the Nintendo Switch, that could actually be something that pays off for Microsoft. So we'll have to see how that kind of works out at the end of the day. But again, Crackdown 3, a lot of us maybe assume that game is doing poorly, but I guess it's not actually doing bad at all, according to some of these reports and things like that. Microsoft is very interested in buying out the company that actually did Crackdown 3, and the reason being is they would like the developers to stick around and maybe get Sumo Digital to sort of stick around and do that. So I know the game was panned by critics, but I haven't seen people who are actually playing the game really dislike the game or anything like that. So there is that, and I do think that we could see that happen because Microsoft not this happy with how the game is going, right? So I do see something like that to kind of sort of happen and transpire in the future. So very interesting to see that. And there's also other rumors and things like that, but probably a little bit less credible than the Sumo Digital ones and things like that. So I do feel like Microsoft kind of has a long way to go with their studios, because if you look at, and I read these the 8th day when I did a video, if you look at the studios that they have, a lot of them don't look like they're going to have much going on for the next few years. So maybe they need something in the interim, But the problem is, if you buy some studio that already has something cooking and they have deals in place, you might not be able to, you might not be able to get those games to be console exclusive or whatever. And so realistically, doesn't really do much. So if Outer Worlds per se would have been exclusive or console exclusive, I think that would have been huge for Microsoft, because boom, they would have had a big exclusive this year. Whereas instead, it's just like, a multi-plat that people, that people can play on pretty much whatever they want. It does look interesting. So I think that Microsoft is onto something with their ideas. They just have to execute them a little bit better when it comes to these developers. Because you've got to be able to get them out there in time. Sumo Digital seems like they are the closers in the business. Yeah, they've been around for a little bit. They've also did some, hey, thanks for the happy birthday wishes. I appreciate that. Well, dude, you can play games on consoles, White Knight 5. That's what you do. You know what I mean? So you play the games on the consoles, and that's how you kind of go about it, Crackdown 3 is much better than any of the other Crackdowns. So I think that's something that people really have to take into mind as well. We also have E3 in 99 days. Think about that. We are 99 days away from E3, and I think that's when we're going to start getting some of these really, really incredible pieces of gaming news and information where Microsoft are going to take the future of Xbox. And while not everybody will be on board with that, I do think that Microsoft has a lot to prove and a lot to show off. We've heard that they've actually sort of went all out. And I think that's exactly what they need to do, because if you look at what we've gotten in the last last few years, it hasn't been much, like hopefully, obviously we're going to see something from Halo. We're going to see a lot of stuff from Gears, because that comes out this year. We might see Ninja Theory's game. I feel like Ninja Theory are the wild card here. And hopefully we can get a glimpse at what they're doing, because I think that Microsoft really has to show the fans what we're investing in for the future. Why it was a smart thing for us to pay off our investment with the Xbox. So I think personally we're going to see a lot of cool stuff like that, and I feel like Microsoft is going to reward us for our investments there. I just think that it's going to take a little bit of time and a little bit of effort, and it's probably some patience too, because Xbox fans, we're patient. But are we that patient? That's one of those things where, I don't really know. You know, I would love to say, hey, we're all patient, we're all, um, you know, we're all basically just out there trying to get games and things like that. And I feel that, you know what I mean? I definitely do. I think that it's, um, you know, it's one of those things that we're all just kind of wanting to see and wanting to hear a little bit more about. So for me personally, like I hear stuff all the time. It's just kind of weeding out what's what and what's worthwhile talking about and what's worthwhile not talking about, because Microsoft hasn't done a very good job with with all that with all that in the past. You know what I mean? Like Microsoft has really done a piss poor job when it comes to sort of getting out the word of what they're going to be doing and things like that. So let's see who else we got. We got any? Yes, this is my birthday. It is. It is today. So yeah, I'm really 40 million Xbox One consoles. That's bad. Well, I guess that's bad. But if you look back to what the original Xbox sold, wasn't anywhere near that. So the fact that they're adding more studios and the fact that they're continuing to invest in, you know, invest in the platform and invest in what they're doing, I think that that shows that they're very much involved in what we're going to be doing, and the fact that they are listening. You know, it might not seem like they're listening, but they definitely are listening to what we've been asking for, and I think that they're going to continue to give us some very interesting things for the future. So I'm very interested in what they're doing, just for the main fact of I'm an Xbox guy. I know a lot of people just go, "Hey, crap, just join the PlayStation Nation. They'll love you." I have no problem with PlayStation, right? I think PlayStation's great, but that's not really, you know, where I want to be 100% of the time. I'm really looking forward to being able to play like you know, VR and stuff like that. But you know, at the end of the day, I'm hoping that Microsoft does eventually sort of break out of that mold as well. So I would love to see Microsoft be able to offer something like that along those lines in the future. And I think that Microsoft, by adding these studios, is actually going to be able to do that. Well, dude, I wouldn't count out Microsoft purchasing Stumo Digital, because look at all the studios they're buying right now. The first thing that they're doing is adding to, you know, they're adding uh, to what they're to the work base there, right? So they're building new studios. Ninja Theory is getting a new building. I think that's pretty incredible. I think that's something that we haven't really seen before. I think that Microsoft knows that fans want some content, and even if the Xbox itself, right? So think about this: even if the Xbox itself isn't the main focus of you know, of Microsoft's idea anymore, you still have that whole idea that, you know, you're going to need content for Game Pass going forward. And I think that a lot of people forget that. You know, there is that to it. You know, if you want to be you know, where the future is, if you want to be where you know, where Netflix is or whatever, or more than just what about Bob, as Mooch always says, you know, you've got to be able to have content there for people. I don't care what you're doing. You got to have that content there. You got to be able to um, set yourself apart from the other people. And I think that's what Microsoft is doing. And, you know, it does take a little bit of time. And honestly, if you're just like me, you're like, well, piss on Xbox. You know, they should have had this stuff done a long time ago. And that's where I sort of agree. It probably is something that Microsoft should have had done a long time ago. But at the same time, if you knew the circumstances and the situations, you sort of understand why that wasn't really the case. So, you know, I can understand some of it, but at the same time, I do wish that they would have taken care of some of this stuff faster, because it seems like they've spun their wheels a bit, and we've kind of paid for that a little bit with sort of what we're doing. So for me personally, I like a lot of the stuff that I'm hearing in terms of what we're going to be getting from Xbox, how E3 is shaping up, what Microsoft plans to do. I do think that these sound pretty incredible. And I'm very excited to see what the future holds for Xbox in general. What about you guys? I mean, what do you guys think about what Microsoft is doing? Because I rarely get a chance to do the to do like comments and respond to you guys, because there's so many of them nowadays, right? As opposed to when I first started. Microsoft had changed in their gaming division name to Xbox Studios. Hopefully a clue they won't totally abandon the console. To be clear, I don't think they're abandoning the console. I just think that they aren't talking about it. If you listen to Phil's recent interviews, they rarely mention consoles aside from consoles don't make money, right? Like that was what pissed me off a little bit when I did a video the other day, right? He's like, consoles don't make money. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, I get that consoles don't make the most amount of money, but if you sell a lot of consoles, you're going to have a lot of software sales as well. And so that was the part that kind of ticked me off, and that kind of left me kind of scratching my head like, what's going on here? It doesn't really make sense that he's kind of basically downing or disrespecting the way that Sony's been doing it, when Sony has been making a ton of money off of doing things traditional way, right? So that to me didn't make much sense. I was sort of off put by it a little bit. Like I have this sort of love-hate relationship with Phil. It's nothing personal. I just feel like Microsoft has this tendency to make Xbox console owners feel less than stellar. So when he was asked about like the consoles and things like that, he wanted to obviously put Game Pass on any device and things like that. And this is what he says. When he talked about cannibalizing console sales and possibly hurt the company's financial results, this is what he said to that. He said, "This is not where you make money. The business inside of games is really selling games and selling access to games and content, and means like that is the fundamental business. So if you open it up, the more often people can play, the more they're enjoying the art form, it increases the size of the business." Obviously, Microsoft didn't break down how much revenue consoles bring in versus software. However, Xbox hardware revenue declined 19% last quarter compared to the previous quarter, while software rose 32%. So you can see that Microsoft sees the benefit of the software sales going up, while the actual hardware sales definitely go down, and will probably continue to go down until Microsoft is able to get out there and achieve what they want to do with Game Pass. Now, will this Game Pass idea, actually work for Microsoft? I think that's going to be the key going forward. Is this going to be something that people actually support and buy content with? That's going to be critical. That's going to be the critical part in thinking, because right now Game Pass is there and we can download that if we want. What happens when that's only a streaming option, right? I think that that's going to be something that's going to play out and going to be critically important to see how that goes out. Will people want to invest in that and continue to spend money and things like that? Hey, please hit that like button if you guys are just joining me. I really do appreciate it. There's much, like, for me, I prefer like multiplayer, man. I really love multiplayer games. So I'm very interested to see how this stuff works out for Microsoft. Like, how will the latency work if you're playing a Halo game over the cloud versus someone who's not? Are you at a disadvantage? These are things that I think about, and definitely think that a lot of people are going to think about, because if you're playing, do you really want to be at a disadvantage, or are you just going to be so happy to be playing a game that's such a such a sort of a high quality game on a handheld via what I'm talking about with the phones and things like that? Are you going to be able to be excited to be able to play like that you're not going to care if you're getting slapped around by people on a better connection than you? So that's basically what I'm trying to say right there. Microsoft obviously is shifting focus a little bit, but then again, like, the streaming stuff does have a challenge according to them, even and then obviously there's a lot of competition. Apple, Amazon, Google are working on game streaming services, but obviously Microsoft does feel like they have a big advantage there. I just don't know if there's like this huge future for the idea of being able to do some of these streaming things. Like, I don't know anybody who's just dying to get out there and stream You know, maybe I'm wrong, but just for me personally, I don't see a lot of people going, "Hey, I can't wait to get out there and stream some Xbox." You know, for me personally, like I just have never seen anybody that was like that, or that mentions that, or that talks like that. I think we all would probably just prefer the local hardware. Maybe I'm crazy though. Maybe there are people out there that want to get out there and sort of stream and just play however they want. I just don't feel like that's what the people that spend the big money, right? Like me, I consider myself a hardcore Xbox fan. 5 Xbox Ones this generation, right? That's what I've bought in. 800 plus games. I consider myself hardcore. Now, the people that are going to be possibly interested in like this streaming stuff, I feel like those are going to be people that maybe play one game a year, and you know, and that game might be free to play game. You know what I mean? And I think that that's something that Microsoft really enjoys, is the fact that they have this income from people wanting to play stuff like Apex Legends, and you know, obviously Fortnite and things like that, that people are very excited about the potential to get that money in for them, right? They talk about it in their earnings reports. They're like, hey, we've made breakthrough money on our earnings based on people buying gold for Fortnite, right? Like that's something they actually mention in their earnings reports. And I think that that's something that, you know, they'll continue to do. That's why I said it doesn't make sense for them to cancel out the Xbox Live, even for free to play, because let's face it, we live in a society where we get used to stuff and then we can continue to actually, you know, we continue to just accept these things going forward. Hold on. Would you be okay if the only way to play Xbox games natively is on Xbox PC and everything else has to play via xCloud? I think that's how it's going to be. I don't think Nintendo is going to be a player in this just yet. So I'm not really sure that I actually think that Nintendo is going to be, you know, involved in that or anything yet. I think people jumped the gun, including myself, on that whole, oh, Nintendo's getting it. When you just look at it logically, it doesn't look like, you know, it doesn't look like Nintendo's going to be involved in that. And obviously Sony probably not either. But again, there are rumors that that was something that was going to happen. So I think that's something that we should absolutely pay attention to. Again, because I do feel like Sony themselves, Sony are going to be very much involved in streaming, these games, that same way. So what I mean is Sony's going to have PlayStation Now, and at some point, and I've heard multiple people say this, and I agree, some point Sony is going to actually have their games day and date on you know, PC, PlayStation Now, however they're going to do it, because they're going to do some kind of integration with mobile and things like that, just like Microsoft. They're not going to put it on Xbox though, and they're not going to put it on Nintendo, you know. And it's probably still going to be very tied to their console. Sony is a hardware company. They make money off of, you know, hardware, and then they happen to make a lot off the software as well. And I don't really see that changing. So they are going to do a little bit of changing because they want to compete with Microsoft in that space as well. I thought it was a little bit funny this year, not to take a shot at Microsoft, but Microsoft just cares about monthly active users, and they're adding up all these monthly active users that they have on mobile and PC and Xbox, and, you know, and it's still less than what Sony has basically just on PlayStation. I mean, I know there's PS3 and Vita as well, but let's face it, those are the minority. Those aren't the people that are, you know, they aren't millions of people still on PS3 and the Vita. You know, it's just not. You know, the people that they have monthly active users are PlayStation 4, and they had Microsoft beat in that area too. So I always thought it was funny that they beat Microsoft at their own game and were able to sort of accomplish that feat, because Microsoft, that's like what they covet most, right? Getting those monthly active users, and that's what you know, getting those games on that platform is all about, to be honest with you. I feel like Microsoft really has to kind of showcase what they're doing and things like that. So I really do think it's interesting because everybody's going after this mobile market. And Jason, you make a good point. He says everybody's going after the mobile market because one thing we all have in common is a smartphone. That is very true. That is very true. The problem is, do we all want to play uh do we all want to play like Halo or The Witcher that way? You know what I mean? That's the thing that I think that people are going to have to keep in mind. Like for me personally, I don't play mobile games, but if I did, it would be something casual because you only have a few minutes, right? Like, oh, okay, well here I am, I'm doing this or that. Let me go ahead and play this mobile game for a few minutes. Well, you know what? I think to me personally, um, it's going to be something very casual, and I think that that's something that um, you know, and I think that that's something that you know a lot of people are going to have to do. Like, when are you going to have time to play a Witcher 3 or whatever? You know what I mean? So I think it's going to be very interesting. Oh, this just came out as well, so this is some interesting. Mm, this isn't interesting because this just broke. Um, and it's obviously courtesy of Jez Gordon talking about Xbox Maverick, which is the console that will be named Xbox One S All Digital Edition, and pre-orders are going to come up in April 2019. According to their sources, Microsoft's diskless Xbox experiment is almost ready. Let's see here. Very interesting. First detailed by Brad Sams, Microsoft has been experimenting with a diskless Xbox One S, codenamed Maverick, with the launch window thought to be around Q1 2019. And according to Windows Central, they now have a little bit more information about the timing and marketing name of this intriguing new console. Microsoft is reportedly set to call the diskless Maverick console Xbox One S All Digital Edition, with pre-orders aiming for mid-April 2019 and general availability coming in early May 2019. It looks as though it could be a near global simultaneous launch for almost all existing Xbox markets. The diskless Xbox One S would be the first for the company, offering fans the ability to ditch discs altogether and go all in on digital game licensing. As Microsoft pushes for greater access to its game library via things like Game Pass, digital subscriptions, and incoming streaming services Project xCloud, dropping the disc drive from the all-digital edition should make it the cheapest Xbox console yet, although there's no word on the pricing or whether the console will see design refinements beyond simply dropping the disc drive. In addition to the diskless Xbox One S digital edition, they've heard that Microsoft may be gearing up to announce a Fortnite edition console with a custom Fortnite design rather than a simple game bundle. It's unclear whether the Fortnite console would be a regular S or an X or a diskless version, but they'll let you know. So there's all kinds of rumors and things like this. Pinch of salt, like always, until they actually come out and announce it. Interesting to hear, if we're going to be getting any kind of new information about this, because Microsoft really does think that, this kind of stuff is the future. I would never buy a diskless Xbox simply for the fact that I used the 4K Blu-ray player a tremendous amount of time. What do you guys think about that? Is that confusing? Xbox One S all diskless version, like that seems like a mouthful. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's see. What kind of Xbox One do you want? Do you want the Xbox One S? Do you want the Xbox One X? Or do you want the Xbox One S all digital edition? Right? Like with no disc. Like that to me is kind of weird. But I still think that Microsoft obviously has an idea of what they're doing. And that's going to be something very strange to see, right? I wonder how that's going to do, because you have to wonder about what the price is going to be. Look, to be honest with you, you can buy an Xbox One S from most places, depending on the time of the year. Like right now, if you look, you could probably find it for $200 or $250. That's a pretty good deal. How much is not having a disc drive going to save? I'm not sure exactly what it's going to do, but if they're only actually out there putting out, putting out, let's say that they price this thing at $199. Well, you can get an S for $199 most of the time. Now, if they price it at $149, I think maybe you're cooking. But I think $199 and still people are going to pass on it. I'm not really sure exactly who the market is for this. I'm assuming it's a test market, but I don't think that it's something that's going to see a ton of breakthroughs or a ton of use from that many people, just for the simple fact that Microsoft, I do think that there is a lot of people that want that are discless, but I think totally dropping the option to watch Blu-rays or 4K Blu-rays, I think that might be something that not everybody's ready to sort of take out just yet. So I do think that that's something that Microsoft will have to kind of pay attention to in the future, and hopefully we can continue to see Microsoft really showcase what they can do. I would love to always have that option for the future and things like that. So going forward, I'll always get the option that has disk drives and things like that, because that's just how I play. For me personally, I think that makes the most sense, and I'm really sort of looking forward to what I'm able to accomplish by being able to have discs or diskless. Like, to me, having the options. Like, here's the thing, right? Have you guys ever noticed? And I'm more traditional. I know people like Noof Nukem, more traditional. When we're talking about options, right? Whenever I bring up something and I'm a little bit pissed off about an option, people go, "It's options. More options, the better," right? More options, the better. We hear this term a lot, right? And if you guys are just joining me, please hit that like button. It's my birthday stream. We're having a good time, just talking some Xbox, and we're having a good time. So I appreciate your guys' support and things like that. So you ever notice how whenever I'm ticked off about something, and people's first thing will be, "It's an option. It's an option. It's great. Options are great. Options are great. Crossplay options. We love it. The options are great." I think, for me personally, options are fine, but don't cut out the options, right? Like, options should expand your options, not remove your options. So as long as this doesn't remove options, which, let's say this thing does moderately well, do you guys know that we could be looking at a next gen console where we get launched with 4 different versions? So here's Xbox Anaconda. Here's Xbox Anaconda All Digital Edition. Here's Xbox, what the hell is that other Xbox? Lockhart. Here's Xbox Lockhart All Digital Edition, right? Like, to me, those are the situations that I'm trying to avoid as a consumer. I'm not really into the whole like confusion thing. And I know a lot of people might not be confused by it, but I think that there are still a lot of people that might actually be confused by it. And, and I think that that's something that Microsoft has to pay attention to going forward. Oh yeah, if you are just joining me with the studios, so there's 2 right now. One of them being Sumo Digital, and one of them being the Age of Empires developer Relic Entertainment, who, by the way, if you guys didn't know, Microsoft is holding the Inside Xbox again very soon, and it looks like we're going to be getting some information on Age of Empires, and that's exactly what I think we're going to be getting some of this these announcements from. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see how that works out, and if it's something that Microsoft is going to be interested in, because I think Microsoft is looking to expand their portfolio in a specific sort of way. And what I mean by that is they obviously had a very, very big gap in action adventure type games, and I think the initiative is handling that. And obviously, when you look at what they're able to accomplish with RPGs, they lack that big time, right? Like, where's their RPG? We haven't had an exclusive Xbox RPG, I think, since Fable 3 in 2010. We're now in 2019. That is a long drought. I don't care who you are. Fable 3 came out in 2010, and we are now in 2019. And when was the last Xbox exclusive RPG? There you go. So you obviously pick up Obsidian Entertainment. You have Playground Games rebooting the Fable franchise. I think that's all very smart. That's a super intelligent thing for Microsoft to do. And, you also have to have, I guess, In Exile could also be one of those that are doing, sort of a RPG. I'm not sure if it would be the quality that we're used to with some of the AAA stuff on Xbox, but I do think that it would be something that maybe it's some, because I don't know if you guys have ever played the Wasteland games. They're okay. They just aren't really my cup of tea. They aren't, I don't look at them as like, oh man, these are amazing games or anything like that. I just feel like they're kind of average, like these AA, like type of games, and those aren't exactly my bag, baby. So, well, I do think a lot of people are excited by what we're going to be getting in the future. I just feel like, for me personally, Microsoft can do a lot better in the future, and I hope that they do continue to add to different things, and add to the value that these studios can bring, because I think they need different things. So I think Relic would be that studio that could do things that, Age of Empires, or if they want a Halo Wars, you have an in-house studio. Because one of the biggest problems for Microsoft, I think last gen even, and specifically this gen, is they were basically renting out these studios, these second party or third party studios, to make them content, exclusive content. And then if they were a hit, the studios would oftentimes get busy with other things and couldn't go back to doing those games. And so I think that was a bit of a problem. And so now we're at a situation where Microsoft realizes this, right? So sort of like how Sunset Overdrive was, right? So even if Microsoft wanted a Sunset Overdrive 2 right this instant, it's unlikely that we could get one, because that studio, Insomniac Games, is working on probably Spider-Man 2, and I'm not sure if they have enough people there to do 2 huge projects like that. So, I do think this is going to be interesting kind of going forward, and just being able to see how Microsoft is able to do that. That's why I think Sumo Digital makes a lot of sense for them, because obviously if you're doing future Crackdown games, which, hey, by the way, everybody, what's up? Over 330 watching. Please hit the like button, share it out. It's Crapgamer's birthday stream, folks. That's right, the birthday stream. I've had some pretty cool donations and things like that. There's a lot of awesome things going on in gaming. I'm very surprised at how many different announcements and things like that we're getting in leaks and things. I also just mentioned the Xbox Maverick, which was just sort of some more information leaked. It looks like this is going to be called the Xbox One S All Digital Edition. Pre-orders are going to be up in April, and it's going to be out in May. Like, I'm very interested to see who's going to be buying a all digital Xbox One S. It's the weaker console, first of all. You could already get the S for a very cheap price, in my opinion. So I really do think that it's going to be interesting to see who actually is interested in trying this out. I just really do think that it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But then again, I'm wrong just as often as I'm right, I guess. Maybe I'm right a little bit more. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I still think it's going to be interesting to see who actually buys into this. And will it be a success? I don't know, because let's be real. Microsoft never really talks about their successes or their failures in the gaming industry to begin with. What I mean by that is they're very careful with what they talk about, right? They don't sit there and go, oh, well, we've sold this or we've sold that. They always just pretty much talk about monthly active users. So would we even know that this thing is doing well? I don't really know if we knew that or not, or if we ever will know. It's going to be very interesting to see how that sort of plays out. But I like that Microsoft, I guess, is at least experimenting, trying to see if these are things that people are interested in, because I think there could be a market there. I'm just not sure that that market is me or you guys per se. So I think it's going to be very interesting going forward. And I am excited to see how it sort of plays out. So, yeah, if you guys are joining me for my birthday stream, like it, share it out, all that kind of stuff. It's going to be interesting. So, yeah, I mean, well, I wouldn't say that I'm that old. I mean, 37 isn't terribly old, guys. Come on. HBD crap, DOA 6 on Xbox One X, only version with in 4K. Same with Dirt 2. Hey, the Xbox One X is killing it lately, dude. If you look at what they're doing, what is that? Anthem, also 4K on the Xbox One X. They're doing a lot of stuff that people are excited about, and we're starting to sort of hear even some more of these amazing things that are sort of leaking out and things like that, including we're getting some that I don't know if many of you guys have heard about this, but there's an Avengers game that Crystal Dynamics is making right now, and they're posting some job listings that kind of leaked out with some external partners on a next-gen game release. Obviously, Crystal Dynamic is doing the Avengers game, and if you guys didn't know, they did the first 2 Tomb Raider reboot games. But last year's was developed by Eidos Montreal, obviously. So Crystal Dynamics working hard on this Avengers project, and now it seems like that has shifted to be a next-gen game. I think maybe with that Batman game too. I think that's going to be a next-gen game too. Job listing indicates that Avengers games would release on the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Anaconda. Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics avoided showing the Avengers game ever since its announcement. At this point, however, it's unclear if the game is going to be exclusive to next gen or it's going to be current gen as well. See, I think the reason why they're holding off on telling people, showing anybody this game right now, because if they show it right now, they're going to obviously have to have people. They're going to have to tell people it's going to come out on current gen consoles, right? I think that they might be aiming for next gen. Maybe it's going to be doing things that can't be done this gen or whatever. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how that sort of plays out. Look at you guys all like talking about age, man. Why can't the PS4 handle the power of Anthem? Dude, I don't know if it's the power of Anthem or if it's just piss poor coding. I don't claim to be a genius when it comes to some of this stuff. I just think that the Xbox One X is obviously a very powerful console, and obviously it's able to handle Anthem fairly well. Like from what I've seen from it, it's a beautiful game. They've actually done a fantastic job with it, and I think Microsoft continues to actually go out of their way to just do a good job of giving a platform to people that they could create these amazing and these beautiful games with it. And I think that continues to be exactly what Microsoft needs to do. And hopefully they continue to do that as well. So, like I said, it's very exciting. But again, this Avengers game, which is something that I've been looking forward to for a while now, seems like that's going to be a next-gen game. I wonder if they're going to start pushing games to next-gen now. The lead producer will have a demonstrable experience working with external parts. This is what they're looking for. Partners to build a next-gen console and PC game. The individual will have outstanding communication skill and proven track record in development and production. The successful candidate will work directly with studio leadership and hold accountability for staying in budget while delivering premium quality on project milestones. Exposure to formal project management techniques and a multi-million-dollar, highly rated AAA games is a must. Previous experience building and maintaining schedules is essential. So obviously they're looking for someone to do this next gen game, and I do believe that they might have shifted this game to next generation, which I think it makes sense if you think about it, simply for the fact that supposedly this is like one of the most quote unquote ambitious games ever, and people want to see this game come out on the next gen hardware, simply because the next gen hardware supposedly is going to do things that we haven't really been able to see get done this generation. So I think that that's going to be interesting to see, sort of how that works out, and if indeed that is something that Microsoft can sort of work out for the fans and things like that. So hopefully we can see that, and hopefully we can see Microsoft continue to evolve there. They say they're going to have the best hardware, so I believe Microsoft when they do say that, and I think they have the money to be able to do that, and the fact that they just don't give a crap about if we buy the hardware, right? So I think that's what we have looking forward to as Xbox fans as well, right? They have this hardware, they have all kinds of interesting stuff to go forward. I'm going to take some questions in the chat if you guys want to offer some questions. So we've got the birthday stream up. We've had some incredible questions and some fun so far. Any questions in there as well? No, the Switch, apparently Alan isn't going to be having isn't going to be doing the Xbox Game Pass anytime soon, according to Brad Sams anyway. The studios right now, Sumo Digital was one of them, and Relic Entertainment, who do Age of Empires and stuff like that. And we're going to be having Age of Empire news at this next one, so it looks like we're going to be hearing from that as well. What's up, El Jefe? How's it going? Please like it, share it out. I would really appreciate it. What was the best ever birthday gift? I will let you know tonight, Noof Nukem, if you know what I'm saying, dude. Newly engaged. She's got something special planned. I'm hoping for some good fun, if you know what I'm saying. You think we'll see a new Perfect Dark this year. I don't know if we're going to see a new Perfect Dark this year, but I do think we are going to get a new Perfect Dark at some particular point. And I do think that it's going to be something that a lot of people are going to be excited about. When is Gears Tactics come out on PC? I think we're going to hear more about that at E3. And yeah. So, yeah, I would expect more and more about that at E3. Hey, thanks, man. I really appreciate the birthday wishes. If I were the head of Xbox, what would be my priority? My priority would be the Xbox console, right? So think about it this way. Sony has been doing game streaming, and they had game streaming on Samsung TVs and Blu-ray players and everything else for the longest time, since the beginning of this generation. But nobody hardly talks about it. Why? Because their focus was the console. And I realize you make money from the software, but if you can sell a whole crap ton of consoles, you can sell a whole crap ton of software. And Sony sells a ton of software. So banking on people being invested enough to stream games, right? To me, that doesn't really work out as much as somebody that's going to play the game on the console. You know, console gamers are hardcore. Yeah, there are lots of casual games that sell really well, or a lot of people play them, whatever, Candy Crush or whatever. But that's not Microsoft's strategy. Microsoft's strategy is to put freaking Witcher 3 and Gears of War on your phone. And I'm just not sure I see the market for that. I know that there's this invisible 2 billion gamers out there that they think they can reach, but is it something that is actually attainable? I think that's where the disconnect comes in, right? That's where, we sort of get the wires crossed. Is this actually something that is going to happen or that can happen? And I think that that's where we start to see sort of this weird situation where Microsoft might not be onto something. Did I see Digital Foundry's video on Anthem? They said they couldn't tell the difference between the Pro and X, despite having X having better res and texture and shadows, but they could tell between 900 and 1080p. Dude, when it comes to Digital Foundry, nothing surprises me because, it pays to really have, Sony as your platform. And look, if I was a Sony YouTuber, I'd be much bigger, right? And I don't mean like in size. I mean like my channel and things like that. Reason being is Sony love equals big views and big time support. Microsoft is the opposite. I mean, you might get some of those intermediate ones, but I think that the Sony fans outnumber the Xbox fans by a large margin on online. And so what you see is with Digital Foundry is most of their audience is PlayStation fans. So you have to appease them somewhat, right? Oh, we don't notice much of a difference here, despite the fact that there's better textures, resolution, shadows, this, that, and the other thing, right? Like that's complete BS. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So is there going to be another Forza called Forza Motorsport 8? Yes. Forza Motorsport 8, I think, is going to be a launch title for the next Xbox in 2020, along with the next Halo game. That's what Microsoft does, man. They launch racing games. They launch that kind of stuff. What do you think about MBG? I don't know who that is. Hey, apologies. Like if that's a like YouTuber, you guys have to keep in mind, especially lately, I have very few free moments. Like mostly I work a lot, and then obviously, I don't mean to keep harping on that, but I'm very excited, and I refuse to dull my excitement about being engaged and being in love and things like this. So I spend more time over with her, and so I don't have as much time to watch YouTube. And I was never big on watching a lot of YouTubers anyway. Like when I watch YouTube is usually like some of my inner circle people that I know, you know what I mean? It's like the really small YouTubers, and like I like angry video game nerds still. So, I don't really know who that is per se. I don't watch IGN or any of that stuff. Mojo Blue says, crap, if you were a pony, you would still be living in your mom's basement and you would be bigger. I get it. Do you think Gears 4 will be the best? Gears 5 will be the best one. I think so, man. I'm very excited, and I hope that what they're going to do is something incredible. Is PS5 going to sell a lot, even if it's a launch lineup are going to be playable on PS4 too? Yeah, whether you think it's unfortunate or fortunate, I think that the PlayStation 5 is going to sell incredibly well, and I think that a lot of people are going to buy it. I don't think that it's going to be, um, you know, I think that it's going to outsell the Xbox, mainly for a couple of reasons, right? If you look at the world really loves PlayStation, right? I'm not jumping to Sony, guys. I'm not. I mean, I'll get a PlayStation 5, but I'm going to get a next Xbox, whatever it is, as well. As long as I can play my physical discs, if I want, and I can play my games, and I don't have to stream it, I'll support Xbox, man. I prefer it. My friends are there. That's what I get into, but I do think that the world prefers prefers PlayStation. Foolish to think otherwise, right? They have that brand recognition. They have those diehard fans that will buy it no matter what. So I do think that PlayStation is going to do very well. And depending on the messaging, it might do very, very well. But I think Xbox is going to do pretty good too, or at least okay. What is the worst game you have played this generation? Soda Drinker Pro. Probably the worst game that I've played this generation. Yeah, dude, that's exactly LG Nemesis. Why jump when you can own both? I'll play PlayStation 5 for VR and those bangers, man. They come out with those single player bangers, man. Those things are incredible, man. I absolutely love the Detroit Become Humans, the those type of games. I think that they've done a fantastic job with really kind of pushing that single player narrative. Like Sony have always done that, and they'll continue to do that next gen. Like I'm not a Horizon Zero Dawn fan, but maybe they'll fix that game up enough to where it's more entertaining than the first one. For me personally, I know a lot of people love that game, but for me personally, I just think that it was a little bit boring. And the voice acting was stiff, and there was no. I wish there would have been an option at least for possibly some kind of lock on. Um, not all the time, just like, if you lock on to something, like most games have that, and it just seemed like it didn't have that, and it made it sound kind of clunky and things like that. So maybe they fixed that. And I'm hoping that they actually do, because I would be interested in a sequel, because I thought it was an interesting premise. They just didn't pull it off well enough for me. But obviously, God of War, absolutely fantastic. And then when it comes to Microsoft, man, I want to see what these new studios can do. Mostly, though, I want a Fable game again, right? And it looks like we're going to get some kind of Fable news. Dude, I told you, Axel, Soda Drinker Pro is a real game, and it is the worst game ever. It is pretty terrible. And there's a game within a game too. So, holy crap. Oh man, they're already naming the Xbox One. So get this, guys. You guys want to know how media bias is, or how the media is against Xbox? And I know this is just a joke, but check this out. So, I was talking about that Xbox One S all digital edition, right? They're calling it the Xbox One SAD edition. Get it? SAD, Xbox One, SAD, S all digital. S all digital. So they're calling it the Xbox One SAD edition, SAD. Holy crap. Who is naming these things, man? Who is naming these things? Like, seriously, man, Microsoft, what are you guys doing? Oh, man, the SAD edition. First you had Xbone, and now you got the Xbox SAD edition. Come on, man. Like, this is the stuff that, like, bugs me about Microsoft, right? I don't get it, like, who the hell decides to name it that and doesn't, like, put the acronym, like, this spells sad. Like, I don't understand that. Like, people are going to have a field day with that. I think it's funny, but it was like that Xbone stuff. Like, who didn't get tired of that Xbone stuff, like, early on? Whenever you see people talk bad about Xbox, they always call it the Xbone. And to me, that never made much sense. I always hated that. I was like, why the hell are people calling that the Xbone? It doesn't make sense. And you've never heard Xbox fans call it that, right? It was always like PlayStation fans or people in forums and things like that. It was always so annoying to see that, and it bugged me, and it also bugged me why Microsoft they never realized that was going to be a thing, right? Like when they came out with the Xbox One X, and I heard it was going to be the Xbox One X, I was like, hell yeah, they finally learned, and now they got the freaking Xbox One S SAD. Absolutely pathetic. can't believe they did that, man. That's so funny though. You know, it's one of those things that's really hilarious. It's called the sad edition because we'll be playing next gen next year and it'll be left alone. Probably, dude. That's why I said it makes no sense to me. Hey, we're closing in on 200 likes. It's my birthday. Let's get me over to 200 likes on this video, huh? I'm out here dancing around, having a good time with you guys. Really do appreciate it. I'm gonna take some new plugs. Dude, I'm not saying that on there, Noof. Noof Noogum. Yeah, so closes in on 200 likes. I would really appreciate it. Let's see, any other questions? I would love some more questions, man. I'm enjoying this. That's why Microsoft gets so many. Yeah, dude, Microsoft gets a lot of hate. They tend to bring it on themselves, unfortunately. So, you know, I would love to see them be able to get less and less hate. So, you know, I would love to see that in the future anyway. So, yeah. Anyway, more questions, more questions. X-Bone, dude, X-Bone does not sound cool. They're saying it's boned, like X-Bone. Yeah, I don't like that at all. What would you have called the sad E? Man, I would have not have called it anything digital, whatever. I don't know. Like, there's gonna be some mixed messaging in there. Hey, I appreciate the birthday wishes, man. Just call it Xbox. Dude, you can't well, here's the thing. How awkward is that if you just call it the Xbox in 2020, right? Because you're gonna have two different versions at least. You're gonna have Lockhart and Anaconda. One of them more powerful than the other. So which one is which? You're gonna have something, right? They really kind of paint themselves in a corner here, and that's one of the things that frustrates me about Xbox too, is the way that they do back themselves in a corner. Because you can't have. So they're starting to do it like the iPhone stuff, like an S and an X, and now we have the sad edition. You know, they're going to have to go the phone route. So they're going to have to call it Xbox something E and Xbox something F or X or whatever. So, can't believe that they could have called it that, man. Wow. Man, sometimes you never really learn, huh? That's going to be interesting. Yeah, so yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see how that sort of plays out for him. I'm hoping that one doesn't catch on. I'm sorry. I'm not wishing anything bad on Xbox. I just would prefer that they stick with the disk drives, at least as long as we have hardware and these kick-ass hardware and stuff like that. I think that we should continue to be able to get some have the option anyway. So yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to that. Hopefully we continue to get them to do that, because I think that to have the option to have that, even if you don't use it, is still cool. And I would rather have the option to do that than rather none whatsoever. So, you know, Microsoft, I hope they actually pay attention and listen to the idea that they all are talking about choices so much. They should actually give us the choice to continue to do that. And I know it's like, well, you can, but I just feel like it's the start of them not giving us the choice, and that would make me sad edition crap gamer, right? Because I always want to play games when they have the choice. So what studios are they rumored to be buying? Okay, so Relic Entertainment is one of the studios, and you might be going, who are they? They're working on the Age of Empires remasters or whatever it is. And also Sumo Digital. So apparently Microsoft is pretty pleased with how the Crackdown 3 is playing out for them, right? So I think that that's something that they're going to have to sort of look forward to, and you know, we'll see how that plays out at the end of the day. But it looks like they're happy with that, and they might want to continue that franchise. And so the thing that they might do is continue that franchise with Sumo Digital, which has multiple studios, which is right up Microsoft's alley. You might go, oh, well, Sumo Digital just bought another studio, or they have some studios under it or whatever. I think that what Microsoft has to keep in mind is they have a lot of content that they need to produce. So think about it. A studio that has multiple studios within that studio is great. Look at Obsidian Entertainment, 4 different teams. Rare has 2 different teams. Playground Games has 2 different teams, 3 by some accounts. The Coalition supposedly has a bigger team and a smaller team. Like, they want these studios that have multiple things, because you can work on multiple projects at the same time. So, you know, I think that that's going to be interesting to see how that sort of plays out. You know, is it going to be something that everybody else jumps on? I don't really know. So, what rare IP would I like to see revived? The biggest rumor is Perfect Dark. I would love to see Perfect Dark revived, but I got to be honest. If I'm just talking for me, and this isn't like anybody else, because I know Mooch and a lot of other people aren't into this type of games, I would say Banjo Kazooie, because I just think that Microsoft needs platformers, and those seem like something they could do extremely well right now. Yeah, Relic is Sega's, but supposedly they have a lot of money problems right now. So yeah, hopefully that's something that we can get. Yeah, please hit the like button, guys. Birthday stream. We're having some fun. This is going to be Xbox's saddest year. I get it, but hopefully they actually can rebound and do a real good job with it. So, you know, I would love to see, you know, them actually be able to do that. Crystal Dynamics should revive Legacy of Kain. I don't know if I've ever really played that, man. Is it a good game? I'm not really sure, but I hope so. I want to see games, new games, not rare, stupid games. Well, listen, Shin. Supposedly Rare is working on a new game that's multiplayer. So it would be interesting to see how that works out, because I guess Sea of Thieves is doing pretty good for them as well. And you know, I think that would be kind of fun to see how that sort of plays out for them. I think for Microsoft, the thing is you have to be able to get these different types of games out that are going to appeal to to a wide variety of gamers. So I think Rare really likes this whole games as a service thing, right? So Sea of Thieves has done incredibly well for them, and it's probably going to continue to be able to do that. So they want to be able to continue to make money that way and draw on these consumers and things like that. And so I think that's exactly what we're starting to see. And Microsoft is going to have to be able to keep games like that in Game Pass, because that's exactly how you keep people subscribing to Game Pass, right? Oh, let me subscribe and play Sea of Thieves. Oh, I'm having fun with this. Uh-oh, don't want to let my subscription lapse. So if you look at a lot of games like MMOs and stuff like that on PC, you happen to see instances of, you know, where that you have to pay a subscription or a monthly subscription to access this account. And now I know a lot of these games have gone free to play now, but Game Pass is basically that, you know, sort of pay your subscription and enjoy the game. Do you believe in the third generation curse? Nintendo 64, PS3, Xbox One? Hey, I think so. Yeah. I mean, what happens is, and I don't know if it's a curse, but it seems like these companies start feeling like they can't do any wrong. And so they get real cocky, and then they come out with, you know, just, hey, we can do whatever we want. And then that's basically what happens. Jeff says, hey, Crapgamer, are you a fan of Cyberpunk 2077? Absolutely, I am. That game looks amazing. I wish it would have been third person, but I'm not going to hate on it. I think that it still is pretty cool, and that we could be seeing some interesting stuff from that game this year. I don't think it's going to come out this year, though. I think it's going to come out next year, and we'll probably have an option to buy it on current gen hardware or next gen hardware. So for me personally, I'm looking forward to seeing what it is. I like that it's so different from The Witcher, because while I love The Witcher, that game was so vast that, you know, it was really kind of hard to get involved with every single thing that it could do. So I really just hope that they continue to evolve, but I also want it to be you know, something fresh. So I liked it as a totally different thing. Like Witcher is so different, and this is like so futuristic. You know, I think that that's something that we're going to look forward to. See, somebody just brought up the why didn't they do a $300 Xbox One X discless version? Like, I think that would have been a little bit more looked upon as something needed, as opposed to an S, right? Like, don't you think? I mean, the Xbox One S is kind of irrelevant, and if you're coming out with new Xboxes next year to replace the S, why would you come out with the discless version of the S right now, unless you really do plan to do forward compatibility? And then is that going to hold back, you know, next gen? Like, I don't want it to hold back stuff, because they got to put it on that as well. So Crap with the solo on his birthday. Yes, hit the like button. NXT Doc says, God, The Witcher was overrated. Geralt was so bland. I guess it depends, man. I know some people that freaking love that game. I didn't love it as much as a lot of people did, but I think they're a quality developer nonetheless, and I think they have the ability. I actually like The Witcher 2 more because I actually was able to finish that completely, right? Like it was open world esque, but it was really sort of just linear as well. Like I don't feel like everything needs to be open world. I always say that, and people kind of laugh. Well, here's the thing: if you're putting stuff on the S still when next gen comes out, and it's just the same code, that is holding it back because that means it has to be out on a 1 point whatever teraflop the original Xbox One is, and I think you have to move forward at some point, right? Like for me, um, that's just what you got to do. I don't think Geralt has that how you pronounce it, Geralt. Yeah, I don't know if he's bland. I just think that he's kind of like one of those quiet types, you know what I mean? And I think that's cool. I just am not sure if that's going to appeal to everybody, So I do think that I think that he's a cool character. I just am not sure that it's a character that appeals to the masses as much as as much as people would like or think, you know what I mean? So I enjoyed it. I did think that it dragged on a little bit long, but still overall a fun game with so much content. And when you look at games that are struggling with content, man, that's incredible to see that actually sort of happen, like we're having to pay for DLC to finish our games, and now we're getting this content that there was so much content in that for free. I thought it was absolutely amazing. So, hey, what's up? What's going on, Xbot? Oh, it's two studios, Relic Entertainment, Xbot, and apparently Microsoft was very, very happy with Crackdown 3 stuff. So Sumo Digital, who owns multiple studios underneath of them, is the latest rumors as well, those two rumors. So that would be pretty interesting because then they could continue to work on Crackdown. I feel like without all the hype around Crackdown, you just do another one from the ground up, focus on Terry Crews and all that kind of stuff. I feel like that could be something that would be really well received as opposed to the way that they did it, right? So because they lack exclusive, because they lacked so much, I feel like it's a situation where there was all eyes on Crackdown 3 and everybody was expecting it to fail. And so obviously it's doing well, and Microsoft's happy with it, even though a lot of critics and things like that aren't happy with it. So I think that's something that we have to kind of take, look forward to the future as we get that. So let's see what else. Witcher 3, any other, hey, happy birthday. Hey, I appreciate the birthday wishes. I really do. Please hit the like button, man. If you guys are here joining me on my birthday stream, we got the 37-year-old gamer out here today. I'm the old man out here. My back hurts, my shoulder hurts, my hip hurts, but I'm out here doing the birthday stream for you guys. So please hit that like button, share it out, all that kind of good stuff. We're having a good time, a good old time. Do I think Crackdown 3 sold past 200,000 units? I don't know about the sales per se, but I think that it was a huge success for Game Pass, and I think that's what Microsoft cares about most. Snakes, read my message, please. Okay, I think if they try to do this forward compatibility, it'll hold things back. What if I'm hiding in grass on my screen and not on yours? I think that, I don't know if that's exactly how that'll work, because that's how PC is, right? So one of the things that used to annoy me about the PC, like if you used to watch PUBG streams, people would turn down their grass. So you would think you're hiding on grass in your screen, but someone else has removed it on theirs, and so they can see you, right? So like consoles, I don't think will ever do that. But I do think that we could see something held back, and I think that that's something that hopefully Microsoft continues to look at, right? You can't have. I'm all for options, and I know everybody's going to be like options. Which, by the way, I'm giving away a copy of Forza Horizon 4 digital on my Twitter today. I tweeted out a thing. All you got to do is follow me, Mooch, and Gadang, and then you guys will be able to be eligible for that. And it's not some long ass thing either. I'm giving it away tonight, just as a special thank you to you guys, man, because I'm very appreciative, and I realize that, you know, there's a ton of YouTubers out there better than me. There's a ton that are this or that, and I think that's fine, man. But I've been doing this for a long time, and I feel like I'm in a unique kind of situation with this stuff because, you know, I've been part of the news, right? Like I was thinking about that the other day, right? There's so many YouTubers out there who cover the news, and they do a great job, right? All of them, and there's too many of them to name. You guys can think of them, and they're great, like the ones in the community and beyond. But how many of them were actually in the news for gaming, man? I can remember when I went at it with Phil Spencer over Quantum Break, going to PC like 4 weeks before launch after years of calling it an exclusive, and I made it in Game Informer, all the big sites, man. Like that was me. It's so funny to think about, like some of the crap that like the trouble I've been in, not even meaning to. I remember I made a joke tweet about Titanfall 2 and about how maybe if we're lucky they'll close down the studio, because I thought it was so idiotic the way people were trashing the game. And I was like, you guys don't understand. People keep trashing these games before they come out, and these studios are going to close down. So I made sort of a joke sarcastically on Twitter about maybe they'll close down. And I realized that it's hard to see a sarcastic tweet as being sarcastic if you're not exactly looking for it. And man, I got in trouble for that too, man. Phil Spencer messaged me. And yeah, so man, I've just had really an incredible time just being able to do this for the amount of time that I've done it, man. And I just am very thankful that I've had so many fans, and just have such a good time doing this stuff. You know, and just realistically, it's been a hell of a ride. And on my birthday, like I guess you kind of get reflective on a birthday or something, you know. And so for me personally, yeah, just looking back at it, just looking at all the different things that I've been able to do, just very exciting and just cool. You know what I mean? Just cool to think about it. Like I'm this guy, and I've done, you know, different things, and you know, I've had people that try to to make things up about me, try to ruin me for no reason, really, just because I like Xbox or whatever. Maybe they disagree with me. Then they don't even know me, you know. So that's, you know, it's been such an interesting ride. But I've enjoyed it, you know, and especially now I'm able to look at it, whereas before I maybe would obsess with different things. Now personally, I'm able to just look at it and go, you know, I had such a good time with this, you know. I'm just having fun with it again. There was a time where I wasn't having fun with it. And now I'm just like absolutely having such a good time with it that it's really, really just, you know, thanks to everybody and the fans and all you guys. Even some of the haters, man, you're my haters, and I get it, you know. You know, I'm an Xbox guy. You think I trash PlayStation too much or whatever. I mean, I totally do get it. But at the same time, man, I'm just still grateful to everybody out there. And I really do just appreciate that. So let's see. What other questions you might want to link the 3 accounts in your Twitter? I did, man. On the tweet, I linked all 3 of them. I did a specific tweet. It doesn't even have that many retweets, man. I think less than 100. Let's see, any other messages. I'm happy to kind of answer some more questions if you guys have some. Fable Legends downloaded. Dude, I have Fable Legends, the thing, downloaded on my Xbox too. I got it pinned still. So I think that was funny as hell, right? Like I thought that game looked good, but just wasn't up to snuff of what a Fable game should be. Noof Nugum says Crap bought more PlayStation stuff this gen than most so-called PlayStation fans. Yeah, you know what's funny was I own VR, like, you know, Noof. I'm a big VR fan. I own over 120 PlayStation games. I bought a PS4, a PS4 Pro. I bought collector's editions and stuff. I bought the collector's edition of God of War, Spider-Man, even Days Gone. I'm not even really interested in Days Gone, but that statue looks dope. So I bought that, and I'm like, hell yeah, man. Crap, how will it not affect the grass? Because I still think that the grass and stuff is going to be there. Yobi says, what up? What studio do you want Microsoft to buy? I want Microsoft to invest the money and buy BioWare. If I'm just talking studios and just no money is no object, buy BioWare or buy Bungie back. You know what I mean? Like, to me, I think that would be incredible. And I think fans would really sort of go out of their way to sort of appreciate what Microsoft is doing there if you were able to accomplish that. And I think that if that would be obviously like in a situation where damn crap, you're old. Yeah, I mean, I guess it happens to all of us, right? That's one thing that we can never outrun, that you know, it's time. You know, it catches up to everybody. Although I don't really feel old, you know what I mean? Buy Visceral for Dead Space. Yeah, dude. Says, you're killing me with the next Fable talk. I'm a big fan. It sucks that it's been almost 10 years. Why do you believe that a proper Fable is in development? Well, there's all the different information coming out of. So here's the thing. I've through the years of doing YouTube and stuff like that, I've been blessed to actually know some people that are in the industry, and they talk a little bit. You can't really talk about those people per se because they can get in trouble. So the story is this: Playground Games, who have only done the Forza Horizon games for Microsoft, wanted to do an open world RPG, a brand new open world RPG. Nobody wanted to take the risk because they've never done an RPG before, right? So nobody wanted to take the risk. They were even going to offer it to be multi-plat, and nobody wanted to take the risk to publish it or fund it. When Phil Spencer saw that everybody was really, really interested in getting a new Fable game, because I guess Playground Games had done some kind of tech thing where they were showing off this RPG world, this open world game, and Phil Spencer was like, well, if you guys can make that a Fable game, now we're talking, right? So that's how the whole Fable thing got started. If you look at originally what was on Playground Games site, it was like brand new open world action RPG, and now it's changed to exciting open world action RPG or whatever it is, right? So it's not a brand new IP. It's Fable. There's multiple leaks. Eurogamer leaked it, which, you know, they're usually, even though I'm not a Eurogamer fan, that's still, you know, when they usually leak stuff like that, it's one of those things where it's probably legit. And so we do have that kind of focus on and sort of look forward to. So yeah, I think that there is one being made, and it's probably a little bit further than what people would believe. So Bungie can't save Xbox. Bungie does. Nobody needs to save Xbox. They made more money than they ever have. What, $10 billion revenue or whatever it was? That's more than they've ever made. They don't need saving. They're trying. They might be evolving a little bit. And some people don't like that. Sometimes I don't like that, but they certainly don't need quote unquote saving. And you know, and that's something that I'll always stick by. They don't necessarily need saving. They're doing fine. They're making money hand over fist. It really just comes down to, you know, what are they going to be able to make? What are they going to offer? What are they going to do that's different? What are they going to do to get rid of this stigma that all they do are, you know, these B games? If it isn't Halo, Gears, and Forza, they only do these B games, direct to DVD movies type of games, right? Because if you look at the scores, you know, the Recores, the Crackdown 3s, the Sea of Thieves, State of Decay 2s, can they make games that aren't like that aren't reviewed like that? They're going to have to get games. And I know we all will say stuff like, well, you know what? You know, game reviews don't matter, right? And to an extent they don't, but to an extent they do, right? If you have a critically acclaimed game, that's going to bring something new to your platform. People might want to invest in your platform or play those games that haven't before, right? So if you had never played a PlayStation 4 before and you saw God of War get those reviews or Last of Us get those reviews, you might be tempted to buy that platform and that game, right? Because they're scoring 95 Metacritic out of 100. That's amazing. Xbox, you look over and every time they release a game, it's scoring in the 60s. People aren't lining up to play games rated in the 60s. I'm sorry. Those games are fun, but they aren't going to draw in the crowds. Microsoft needs these games that are going to draw in the crowds, and I think that's exactly what they're going to start to do in the future. It really just depends on how they're going to be able to accomplish this in the future. So hopefully they can do that, because I think they have the talent. It just really depends on what they're able to pull off with these studios. You know, they got to be able to get out there and show people things that you haven't done before, right? Like, that's the thing. You have to go out there and show people, hey, this is why you should buy an Xbox or play our games on PC or whatever. We're going to try something new that we've never done before. And, you know, like, to me, Microsoft seems to be all over the place lately, right? Like, one of my main beefs with Microsoft is that, right? So when you see Phil do the interview and he's talking about xCloud or PC, or they're going to combine this and this, right? Like, Xbox, the console itself, is very little talked about, and they're so scattered all over. So now there's another version, this digital SAD version, the Xbox One SAD edition. Yeah, that's you know, that seems kind of scatterbrained to me. Like, this stuff is all over the place, and I wish they would just focus a little bit more on, you know, get the games out there, keep the console gamers happy, because we as fans, I think, deserve that. We've put up with a lot of crap this generation, and I feel like we deserve some love, you know. Element of Pino says, crap, aren't we ignoring that media has a bias to score the games Microsoft came out with lower? I don't think you're wrong. I think that what happens is, I don't know, and it's a favoritism. Like, I think a lot of the reviewers grew up with PlayStation and Nintendo, and so they have favorites there. And I think what happens is you can look at the social media, right? And you look at social media and you look at the leanings of social media, and people go, you know what? We expect Crackdown 3 to score piss poor. It's been in development hell for 5 years. It's a joke. Everybody expects this game to score really bad, and so they score it really bad. The problem with that is, even the staunchest haters of that game play it and they go, hey, this game's not bad. We're actually having fun with this. And I think that that's where the discord comes in, right? So yeah, going to be very interesting to see how that sort of plays out. I would love to see if that's something that could happen, if we see some positive Xbox reviews, because there have been some games, right? Even the first Ori, where you look at it and you see that it's got these terrible, or not bad scores, but it's not even a 90 meta, and you kind of question that, right? Or you see, I thought Forza Motorsport 3 should have got a higher score. Maybe Forza Motorsport 4 as well, or Forza Motorsport 7. I mean, I would have loved to see that get a little bit higher score. So you can see that there are instances of where that happens. And I would love to see Microsoft get a little bit of a fair shake. Hopefully they do with their next-gen games. But you have to wonder if some of these gamers and some of these reviewers, when the next Xbox comes out and we start seeing like Ninja Theory games come out on Xbox, are they going to be jealous and pissed off that Ninja Theory is doing Xbox exclusives or console exclusives? Are they going to score it lower because of that? Like, that's something that I do worry about, but hopefully Microsoft kind of has that all figured out. And, you know, as long as the games are good, I think people will come around. Dead Rising 3, greatest zombie game ever made, and trashed because it was exclusive. I love Dead Rising 3. I thought it was amazing. It was my favorite Dead Rising game. So the media crapped on the PS Classic. Is that media bias too? Of course not, only on Xbox. Listen, where did the media really crap on the PlayStation Classic? That thing should still be a running joke, right? You heard a couple of things about it. It was discounted, and that was the end of it, right? That you don't hear people still talk about it nonstop ad nauseum, right? Like, everybody still talks about Xbox and the power of the cloud, and like the stuff that was jokes with Xbox in 2013, 6 years ago, mind you, 6 years ago, is still jokes. That's the problem. That's the problem. So for me personally, I think that like that stuff, it needs to change, and in a hurry. So hopefully Microsoft will actually get out there and sort of be proactive with that, or maybe stop letting these people, you know, review the game, right? because if you look, remember how Apex was released? They just released it into the wild. I think if you were to sort of do something like that with your games in the future, just give it to influencers and let them play it the day it comes out. Boom! I think you'd be much better off. I think that would be a very smart way to kind of go about things. And Microsoft needs to be proactive, right? They can't just sit back and let Sony go out there and steal their lunch time and time again. Let's see, MNC show. Well, this is an MNC show, but we do have MNC show Sunday on Mooch's channel. We're going to do the game giveaway through Patreon. So if you guys are interested in supporting the show, please do so on that. Any other questions? I would love to hear some kind of question. Yeah, get your voicemails in. Sully! Skype, MC Show Live, one word. That's exactly the way to go about it. The retro gaming scene on the PlayStation Classic because it was trash. Hey, it was trash, man. They weren't even using, which is my least favorite generation of Xbox and why. Damn. That if I answer that, people aren't going to like that. But I'll answer it just because. My least favorite Xbox generation is this one, right? And I say that, and it's not because I feel like it's so terrible. I just feel like when I played that original Xbox, that was the hardcore gaming machine, man. I was like, holy crap. And when I first played Xbox Live, right, and I was playing NFL 2K 4 and 2K5 and Halo 2, and, you know, it was so hardcore. And Chronicles of Riddick, Escape from Butcher Bay. It was something that I'd never really experienced before. KOTOR, Jade Empire, right? These amazing games that were realistically, a lot of them were only on PC, and so we were getting to play them for the first time. And then the Xbox 360 is probably my favorite just because, I mean, it speaks for itself, right? Halo 3, Gears of War, Halo Reach, Halo 4, Halo ODST, Gears 1, 2, and 3, Mass Effect trilogy, Call of Duty 4, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 2. You know, just we got so many games and sequels, and just really there was so many little gems on that console that was unbelievable. You know, Dragon Age, we got good Dragon Age games, believe it or not, back then. So yeah, like holy crap, we were getting so many games. And that was absolutely, yeah, BioShock was a console exclusive for a year on Xbox 360, right? Imagine that. So, you know, I do think that it's you know, like Xbox One probably my least favorite, but that doesn't mean that I don't like it. It just means that out of the three, I was blown away by the Xbox when it came out, and the Xbox 360 was probably my favorite. So yeah, I would definitely say that the Xbox One probably my least favorite, but I love the console and I think it's amazing. I just think that you know, it just really hasn't hit its stride with the software that I would hope. You know, like when I look at the software that the Xbox had launched with Halo, look at Xbox 360, that thing had Gears of War. That was like huge. This gen, I feel like Sunset Overdrive could have been that, or possibly, you know, I don't know, Quantum Break. But you know, at the end of the day, we just haven't seen it. So yeah, a little bit bummed about that, but still think that Microsoft has done some incredible things, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they continue to do with the Xbox One this generation. There could still be that amazing game that comes out of nowhere, but I kind of doubt it. They're sort of winding down. Xbox One didn't push forward the standard for AA games minus Horizon. I don't know, man. I think it depends. Yeah, Rise was amazing, right? Because I bought an Xbox One because of those exclusive lineup at the beginning of the generation. So, yeah, just it makes a lot of sense to be able to have like Killer Instinct, Dead Rising 3, Rise, Son of Rome, Forza Motorsport 5, Titanfall. That could have been huge for Microsoft if they would have locked that down. Titanfall could have been the next big thing. Microsoft should have bought that studio, locked down Titanfall, kept it exclusive, and once that game went multi-plat, it died, in my opinion. And yeah, so I do think Mojo. I agree. The Xbox One X by far the best console ever created. But I feel like they need that killer software, that lineup there. You know what I mean? So I think that would be something that they needed, something to really show off that game that's exclusive, right? Because when you play a PlayStation exclusive, they show it off, man. Um, you know, they show it off on that platform. It looks great, right? So far, what we've seen some stylized games, and I'm not saying they look bad because I think Crackdown 3 looks really great, and I think Sea of Thieves looks great, but we haven't seen that huge, um, you know, megaton, and I think that is the problem. So I really do think that's a bit of the issue there. So I would love to see um them have a game that really kind of showcases what the hardware can do. We haven't really seen that. It seems like third party is doing that, and it should be first party leading the way there, So that to me is a bit of my problem. So I would love to see a situation where the first party can show off some stuff. I would love to see that. So discless, yeah, we were talking about that. Discless Xbox One, the sad edition. What was my favorite arcade game growing up? I love that. Maybe you guys have played this game, but I mean, Mortal Kombat would be the easy one to answer. But I love that Simpsons 4-player arcade and that X-Men arcade game with the two screens next to each other. Those were probably my favorite. And that Ninja Turtles arcade game. So 3, realistically. Those were the 3. Listen, Crapgamer, Crisis, the big game on Xbox One X 4K. Maybe. I don't know. What do we got here? Any other questions? When Titanfall went to PlayStation, it was over for me. I kind of agree. They sort of catered to PlayStation. I really wish they would have kind of, I really wish Microsoft would have kept that exclusive. Yeah, the Xbox One SAD edition, dude. It's the Xbox One S all digital. How do I feel about Xbox's cult capture versus PS4? I think PS4 is superior and the dashboard is better. It depends about the capture. You can capture in 4K on the X. Do I still like Starburst? I still like Starburst, but I haven't had any in a while. So, I still like the Starburst though. Any other questions? Because I'm going to answer a few more before I got to go. Hopefully, you guys can have some fun here on my birthday. We should have Xbox One X exclusives. I wish. Hot sauce, I didn't see your question. You have to @ me so that I can see it, so it lights up. Let's see, what else do we got? What could be the biggest announcement at E3? I think the biggest announcement, there's going to be 2. Obviously, hardware is a huge announcement, but I think Ninja Theory with the surprise exclusive announcement and coming out on the Xbox One would be great. Well, to be honest with you, man, if I play a game today, it would probably be Toe Jam and Earl, but I've got plans tonight with the Miss, so hopefully gonna be having fun. Do I think Halo Wars 3 will ever go mobile if it's released? Maybe. I mean, everything's gonna go mobile according to Microsoft. They're putting everything out on all everything. So a good bundle would be Crackdown 3 with a sad box. Oh my god, that's funny as hell. It should make for some sad gaming. Dude, I like Crackdown 3, though, man. That game is good. I don't think it's great, but I do think it's a good game, and I think that, people should give it a chance. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Let's see. What else do we got? Got here late. What was the name of it? Oh, Relic Entertainment and possibly Sumo Digital. Did you retire from gaming? No, I haven't retired from gaming, man. I just been on the other Xbox, which I'm not sure if that actually is the deal. No, I game, man. I don't game as much because I just now got another Xbox that I took with me over to my fiance's house. So I should be gaming more now. You can instantly send game capture on PS4 as the positive. Yeah, I agree, man. Like, hopefully Microsoft kind of fixes that in the future. I would love for them to be able to sort of send the captures out a little bit quicker. How about Cyberpunk 2077 console and PC exclusive? I would love that, but I just know that CD Projekt Red would never do that. What's the thing you would absolutely hate at E3? If they spend too much damn time talking about PC and um, you know, and X Cloud and all that crap, right? Like, I know that people are gonna go, oh crap, it doesn't really matter, right? PC, X Cloud, this, that. But for me personally, all I'm saying is this. Um, I believe that most people that watch E3, especially Xbox E3, quote unquote, are there to see console stuff, right? We want to see console stuff. We want to see the games, the software, the hardware. We don't care about xCloud. Like, save that stuff for GDC or something else. It might be cool, but it's like such a waste, in my opinion, to talk about that stuff. Talk about the games, talk about the hardware, talk about new studio acquisitions, show games, and I think that's what people want. I don't want to hear about PC stuff, to be honest with you. So, crap, I just got a TCL 6 series from my ex, and it looks so much better than my 10. Dude, I have a TCL as well. Looks amazing, dude. It's very comparable to the Samsung KS8000. Yeah, exactly. Save that stuff for the PC gaming show. That's exactly my thought, LG. Did you ever play Hello Spartan games on iOS and Android? Did you know the achievements carried over to Xbox? Yeah, I actually had one of those came out on Xbox One, and I played it. So YouTube was big when the 360 was new. Sony fanboys would have destroyed it just like Xbox One if YouTube was big when the 360. I don't know, because the influencers would have been 360. One of the reasons why the 360 was so big was because the influencers were all there, right? The influencers were supporting. They support PlayStation now because that's the main thing that people play. So back then it was 360. So I think that's realistically. I don't know if they would have ruined it, but maybe it wouldn't have done as good. So it's hard saying, really. So, what do you think the biggest announcement will be at E3? I think we're going to get a Fable announcement, Ninja Theory's new IP announcement, and Xbox hardware announcements. Those are going to be huge. Those are going to be absolutely huge. Sony stole Microsoft's business model. Yeah, they stole the playbook. Did YouTube destroy? I don't know if YouTube destroyed Xbox One. Microsoft fails to really explain themselves very well. That's what hurt the Xbox One. They weren't very forthright with what the Xbox One was going to be. So I feel like that was a problem. And so hopefully they fix that kind of stuff in the future. I think they really, really need to. So yeah, I would love to see that actually happen. I'm going to take a couple more questions. And then I'm going to go, do you think Verizon will throttle xCloud for their customers because they're making their own streaming service? That's possible, but it might be against the law if they did that. So I don't know. Any other questions? Please hit the like button. Really appreciate all the birthday well wishes and stuff today. It's been a fantastic stream. Thank you guys so much for rocking out with me. It really does mean a lot. It does. Maybe we can get up to 250 likes. Are you aware 1 terabyte micro SD cards are dropping this year? I'm picking my one. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get one for my Switch too. So, any chance Sony could drop the ball with PS5 announcement or events? I think Microsoft, or I think Sony's gonna just do what they always do. I think we're gonna see a Sony PS5 event in 2020, probably in February, and it's gonna release in November. Yeah. Let's see. What do we got? Sony. Yeah, Sony did. Hey, you can't knock Sony, man. It's business, right? It's all about business. Going out there and, you know, and playing to your strengths and pointing out the weaknesses. So yeah, I appreciate the well wishes for the birthdays. Why do you think Phil doesn't grow IPs with sequels? Rise has potential to be like God of War. I don't know. I do know Phil doesn't like stuff like Alan Wake. I'm not sure if he was a Quantum Break fan or not, but I know he wasn't a fan of Alan Wake. So I don't know. We'll have to see. With that being said, you guys, I've had a fantastic stream, man. I've almost 2 hours. I've answered a lot of questions. Hopefully you guys had a good time. Like I said, I took some time out of my birthday just to say what's up and share some of these rumors and talk some gaming with you guys. Like the video, share it out. I really appreciate it, man. It's been a hell of a birthday so far. Thank you guys so much. Rack them up, and I'll catch you guys next time. Have a great night. Later.